step. You don't want to move very fast. You want to try to keep something between you and your target.
1 minute ago, everything changed inside Tomo's barn loft, and the truth about what they found up there has left the entire town on edge because no one can understand what was hiding above those old wooden beams and what it wanted from the people who kept watching that barn. It began with a quiet morning and a strange stillness around Tom's land. The kind of stillness that makes neighbors stop and look around with a feeling that something is not right. And they said they saw a faint light moving through the cracks, even though Tom had not stepped outside for days. The deeper they looked, the more they realized something was wrong, as if the barn itself was waiting. And that morning, the building sat still with its gray boards and its heavy doors. Yet the air around it felt tense and heavy, as if the place was holding its breath. Neighbors heard a low, hum-like movement inside, even though Tom had not lit his chimney or opened his gate. And by midday, the rumor spread that something was happening in the barn. A few people went to check on him and found the main gate unlatched and the ground covered with several sets of footprints that did not belong to one person. And some said they heard faint thuds from within, like something heavy was being dragged, while others insisted they heard muffled voices, speaking in quiet tones. One man called Tom's name but got no reply, and when he pushed the door open, a cold, stale gust rushed out, carrying the smell of old hay and something else none of them could name. And inside they saw a darkness that felt alive as the lantern flickered once and then died. No one wanted to go inside without Tom's permission because he was private and guarded. Yet something in that barn felt different, and the ground itself seemed uneasy beneath it. By nightfall, whispers turned into stories, and some people said Tom had found something buried, while others said they saw a figure pacing behind the cracks in the wall. Curiosity grew until fear could not keep people away, and as darkness settled across the fields, the only question people could think about was what exactly was happening in that loft and why no one saw Tom walk out again. By the next morning, the barn looked untouched, yet the air was heavy and the fields were empty, and even the animals stayed far from the building. And the barn door that had been left open the day before was now closed again, though no one knew who shut it. There were no signs of movement, and Tom's truck sat in the same place, covered in leaves. And when someone knocked on his door, the sound echoed strangely, like the house was hollow, and when they called his name, the only answer was the creaking hinge of the barn door. By midday, people returned because the silence felt wrong, and they stared up at the loft window, where they saw a dark shapeshift behind the cobwebs, as if someone or something was watching them. They waited for hours for Tom to come out and explain something, but he never did, and even the wind refused to move. That night, a few men brought lanterns and stood outside listening, and at first everything was silent, but then a dragging sound came from the loft, slow and deliberate, like something being pulled across the floor. And when one man stepped forward, the sound stopped. They turned to leave, but one man swore he heard a whisper from behind the door saying one word. The word was "Don't," and they ran home without looking back, while the echo of that whisper followed them into the night. The next evening, 2 locals went back because curiosity had taken over their fear, and as they neared the barn, their lantern light revealed dust drifting from the loft as if someone was moving above them. They heard slow pacing across the boards, and when one man lifted his lantern, he saw a shape watching them from the far corner, motionless, then melting into the darkness. They backed away, and when they reached the gate, they saw a faint lantern glow moving inside. The loft, though no one had entered for days, people in the town always knew one rule: never go near Tom's loft, and Tom never explained why. By morning, more people gathered, and some said they saw a faint handprint on the inside of the loft window, while others said the curtains had shifted. The sheriff finally entered the barn, and his flashlight revealed the old ladder to the loft, and when he called Tom's name, the only reply came from above. A single slow footstep, followed by a rope falling beside his boot, frayed and still warm. He left pale and warned everyone with the same words Tom used to say, "Don't go up there." For 2 days, no one approached the barn, but curiosity finally pushed one man to climb the ladder at night. He reached the loft and found fresh footprints leading to hay bales that had been moved. And behind them, he found a small wooden hatch built into the floor. When he opened it, a cold breath of air rose from below, and something glinted in the darkness before the lantern dimmed and a slow creak came from behind him. He fled, and the next morning he told everyone what he had seen. The town gathered with ropes and lanterns, and together they climbed the loft, where they found the hatch and lowered a man into a narrow pit carved deep beneath the boards. He found a heavy object wrapped tightly in cloth, and when they pulled it up and untied the knot, the sight inside left them breathless, because it was old and marked with carvings no one recognized. Before they could speak, a knock came from the pit below, like a warning, and the cloth shifted as if something inside had a pulse. The air grew colder, and the men fled the loft, leaving the object on the floor. By the next morning, the story had spread, and the strange part was not just the object, but the fact that Tom had vanished without a trace. His house was locked, his truck untouched, and his footprints ended at the barn, with no sign he ever walked back out. They searched his land and found a torn piece of his shirt, caught under the barn boards, and when they looked up at the loft window, they saw a shadow move slowly across it. When they called Tom's name, the barn replied with a deep creak like something shifting in the loft. The men backed away and understood what the town now feared. Tom was gone, and whatever was inside that barn was not giving him back. What do you think about this story? Share your thoughts in the comments, and make sure you like this video. Subscribe to Hollywood Bulletin and press the bell icon to stay with us for more stories like this.